Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between. Every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, I am your host, James J, with Kaliko Yachts, who is not here, Mitch Mayhem, who is also not here. But hey, look who is here. Scooter Dust.
Yo, yo, yo!
Sadly, it is not a great day for wrestling. We lost a true legend in Tracy Smothers. He was 58 years old, I believe.
Yes, yes.
I feel like
Tracy.
I feel like we know the name, but he hasn't been like up there with Hulk Hogan's and Randy Savage's, but he is well known, right, Scooter?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, he he was really more well known. In the you know, early '80s, mid '80s, and then as we got into the '90s, he kind of dropped out a little bit. Found a resurgence in his career in ECW, and um, you know, spent a little bit of time in the closing moments of the USWA before he was in the WWE for a cup of coffee. Um, Probably his most well-known WWE moment as Freddie Joe Floyd was defeating Justin Hawk Bradshaw, aka JBL, on an episode of Superstars. Uh, Current fans today will probably remember him as a member of the Full-Blooded Italians in ECW, which was ironic considering Tracy Smothers was a Southern boy through and through.
Kayfabe, Scooter, kayfabe.
Well, I mean, he was a wild-eyed Southern boy to start in Florida Championship Wrestling. Had a you know, not a main eventer, not I wouldn't even say upper card, but mid card for most of his career. But when he was in the mid card, he was something worth watching. Uh, Smothers' health issues were not a secret to anybody in these past few months, including a campaign to raise money to help him pay his hospital bills.
And our thoughts and prayers go out to Tracy's family as well.
Um, Interesting little tidbit. Um, you had scheduled with an interview scheduled with an indie wrestler named Bam Bam Malone. Funny enough, Bam Bam Malone actually wrestled Tracy Smothers a number of years ago.
Oh, that's really, I did not know that. And
Yeah, looking at his match history, I saw it, and we'll probably that'll probably be one of the focal points of the interview when it drops next week.
in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, and obviously this week we interviewed Whiskey John, which was a true pleasure. Interesting to hear about somebody that, just started their career, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Very, very interesting.
we are being joined by Mitch Mayhem right now.
Yo, what up?
And next week on Wednesday night wrestling with interviews, we are interviewing Christian Robinson, who in my mind is going to be a mega star in the next 2 to 3 years. I don't think I was going to say 5, but I think he's going to break out before that. No, Scooter?
If not 3, we'll probably definitely be reading about him on TV in some way within 5 years.
Absolutely. And a week from then, we are also interviewing Bam Bam Malone, as you alluded to. So wrestling with interviews is picking up, and we're excited to interview these wrestlers and kind of see what's going on in independent wrestling in the pandemic era. Speaking of independent wrestling, Thunder Rosa lost the NWA NWA Championship to Serena Deeb this week, which kind of came out of nowhere.
And that officially means that the NWA Women's Championship belongs to All Elite Wrestling.
Wait, what happened?
Thunder Rosa lost the NWA Championship to Serena Deeb of AEW Wrestling.
Serena Deeb's with AEW?
Yep.
I didn't know that. Okay. I know who Serena Deeb is.
And
the CM Punk cult, but yeah.
And Billy Corgan, formerly of the Smashing Pumpkins and now owner of the NWA, cleared up Thunder Rosa's contractual obligations. And it turns out both AEW and WWE have an interest in her, but most likely, even though Corrigan said she's under contract until 2021,
2021 is 2 months away.
Well, that's the beginning of it, smartass.
It doesn't say specifically what month,
Exactly.
but Thunder Rosa most likely headed to Stanford.
And honestly, I think that may be the best place for her. You know, women's wrestling in WWE is probably the hottest. I mean, they have the best talent roster. If you don't believe me, check out the PWI's 100 list. The top 5 women were all WWE. But, you know, Serena Deeb, obviously when NWA comes back, if it ever comes back, working relationship with AEW, no?
That's a huge possibility. Nothing really guaranteed at this point, but it seems that yes, most likely NWA and AEW will be working more together.
Also in the news, Jake Hager won his Bellator fight against Brendan Kelton. It kind of seems like Jake is a pretty badass guy. You know, he's undefeated in MMA.
You do know that there was controversy because he hit below the belt, right?
In this last match?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Yep. And the match before that, he got disqualified for doing it like 3 times.
Well, he's still undefeated in Bellator, which
yeah, if you keep nutshotting people and getting DQ'd, yeah, you'll keep from losing a fucking match.
That's what I was gonna say. It's kind of kabuki-ish, but he's undefeated.
But he won it by split decision.
Yeah, split between the nuts.
What do you think keeps Jake Hager from being a main event player in pro wrestling? Because it always seems like there's something holding him back. Mitch, do you want
His
to talk?
attitude. I think he thinks he's above a lot of people because of his size. Maybe. I think so. He's got a big head. He does have ego.
What about you, Scooter? What do you think?
Charisma. He has none. Plain and simple.
That's true too.
That is a really good point.
But it's more than, it's not just that. It's more. It's way more than that. But yeah.
And earlier this week, we got our first Halloween Havoc in 20 years.
It's a Frankenstein. It's not WWE or WCW. It's NXT. So I mean, my point is, it's kind of new. It's got the old Halloween Havoc name, but I don't think it's gonna really be the old Halloween Havoc we know.
It was a really good show.
I didn't see it.
But that's what I was gonna ask you. Obviously we're not going to cover all of Halloween Havoc tonight because we have other things on the agenda. But just give your thoughts on the show as a whole, Scooter, because you actually saw it.
It was
fuck off.
it was a very good show. The spin the wheel, make the deal gimmick.
They brought that back. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, after
that's a Dusty idea, I think.
Sometimes things go away for so long that they can come back and have a chance at being successful again. This is one of those examples. Damian Priest and Johnny Gargano for the North American title in what was called a Devil's Playground match. Now,
but what's the Hell in a Cell match?
Yes, for those of you that were thinking Hell in a Cell, no, even though Devil's Playground is the nickname for the Hell in a Cell match, this was just your basic Extreme Rules Falls Count Anywhere type of match. However, once again, Johnny Gargano is the NXT North American champion.
And once again, he won a championship, not at a takeover.
Yes, but he won it thanks to Ghostface.
Yeah.
Who?
Somebody.
I didn't hear you. I said what?
Somebody dressed in the Killer from Scream costume.
Oh, the mask.
Yes.
The ghost mask, yeah.
But it just worse thing enough is that somebody else in a Ghostface mask interfered in Candice LeRae, Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Championship.
Get it? He's a Ghostface killer. Ha!
But Candice did
That's
not.
a Wu-Tang member, clan member. But anyway.
But Candice did not win the NXT Women's Championship. The House of Horrors match. If you had doubts about Cameron Grimes before, Cameron Grimes plays the chicken shit heel to perfection.
I think because it's like I think he has part of it in him.
And
That's so good because it is him.
As well, I also think this benefited Dexter Lumis, who can be that sort of eerie character, but still be a face without.
Talk about a character revival. He was from old TNA, dude, and like they brought that over. That it's one of the first gimmicks they actually brought over and made their own. Which I'm glad, but they need to do more things like that.
He actually had
a Abyss. I would love to see Abyss.
He actually had a stint in NWA as well.
Who?
Loomis.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's not saying much. A lot of people had a stint in NWA.
Also, the biggest shock of Halloween Havoc after Pat McAfee was the one who revealed that he paid off Ridge Holland to attack Adam Cole back at TakeOver. But
yeah, I'm so sick of fucking Pat McAfee.
But with none of the Undisputed Era in the building except Kyle O'Reilly comes out and he's got 2 chairs with him. But the other chair is for Pete fucking Dunne.
And how good did Pete Dunne look? Like, he really got ripped during the pandemic, didn't he, Scooter?
Quarantine?
Yeah, he did. And you know what made this even better? Pete Dunne turning on Kyle O'Reilly.
Hold on.
Pat McAfee.
I mean,
but there was no real. Let me just be devil's advocate real quick here. There was no like relationship between those two for Dunne to turn on him. It wasn't like a big payoff.
No, you're absolutely right about that, Scooter. Mitch, my bad. You know, Stevie Wonder, a blindfolded Stevie Wonder could have saw that coming.
If Score is working with McAfee, I get that, but I mean, there was no establishment between Dunne and O'Reilly for it to matter about that. Like it didn't really matter in my opinion.
It's just a babyface code.
I'm gonna disagree there because I think this is the exception where the return of someone we haven't seen in a while and who is on track to be one of the greatest superstars in the business.
O'Reilly?
No, Pete Dunne. The shock of Pete Dunne, especially when we all thought he was stuck in England. And it just so it's shocking. The return was shocking. The turn, however, yes, Ray Charles saw it. Stevie Wonder saw it. Somebody else with no eyes.
Stevie Wonder sees everything, but no, I'm joking. That's besides the point. No, that's a joke, though.
But Pete Dunne now joining Pat McAfee's army, and this is most likely what we're going to see at War Games. Undisputed Era against Team McAfee.
Fucking dude. The more McAfee's on the fucking TV, it just makes me want to fucking vomit.
Oh,
He's finagled his way on through his fucking celebrity of being a kicker.
Well,
and that's the only reason why he's there. Because he had a name. Otherwise, they wouldn't have touched him with a 10-foot fucking pole.
Oh my god, Pat McAfee has been great on NXT TV. I mean, you hate him, right?
So I hated him before that.
Well,
but I hated him way long before that. I mean, he was trying to be liked.
I don't think he's ever wanted to be liked.
Yeah,
I think he knows he's a heel.
He played to the crowd in his first few months. Yeah, he did.
Anyway, last thing on our news today, a lot of WWE superstars shut down their Twitch's account. Is that the
so fucked up, dude? Okay, hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be the turning point of where people are gonna make the option of if it's literally worth it monetarily to sign with WWE. Because Twitch, you can gain more money on Twitch if you do it right. And if they have a celebrity name, that automatically brings viewers.
Even the other day, Paige got really emotional talking about her Twitch account.
And I'm with her, dude. I'm 100% behind her.
I mean, it's unfair. I mean, she literally gave her neck twice for the company, and
someone should fucking take WWE to court and hold their fucking balls to the fire on this independent contract bullshit. This is where it should bite them in the fucking ass.
If you can find a lawyer, they can the superstar.
Yeah, that's the problem. Money talks.
I mean,
in capitalist society like this, unfortunately,
they're definitely gonna have to redefine the word independent contractor, correct? Scooter?
They're gonna have to make them employees, dude, or they're gonna have to like give like specific benefits to where like they cannot be exploited, because straight up they're being exploited.
You know, I actually agree with you, Mitch. What about you, Scooter?
Straight up.
Yeah, that's absolutely it. And I think the notion that they're shutting down their Twitches instead of giving them over to Vince. Yeah, I really hope that message gets through to Vince. It won't.
It won't. Fuck no, it won't. Nothing gets through the Vince unless it has money value behind it.
Definitely something is going to come out of this. Hopefully, it's to the benefit of the superstars. And that will conclude our coverage of the news.
What it could, real quick, what it could lead to is a mass exodus of people when their contracts are up.
That is a possibility. Or a renegotiation of some sort.
Yeah, to say the least.
Now,
but okay, real quick, you know what I smell? I'm gonna say it. 5-letter word that starts with a U. Union.
Now, apparently the superstars are apparently they are gathering together to go to Vince directly and
unionize
and argue to lift this edict.
I honestly don't think he's gonna give a shit unless they organize. I really don't think that they need to organize to get him to. They need to force his attention on the matter, because he won't give a fuck unless he's forced to the table.
Yeah, but WWE is releasing the public statement that the entire roster have signed new deals with higher downside guarantees due to no road expenses.
Okay, so wait, are you trying to say that with this in mind, with the Twitch shutdowns and everything, that they reworked their contracts and gave them more? Is that what they're saying?
That is what they are trying to say. I don't know if
I think that's PR bullshit, but if it's true, it's better than nothing.
Now, the other...
I don't believe it. And it's not worth controlling people's accounts. But anyways, go ahead.
The other big thing coming out of this is that either the WWE is going to launch their own social media video streaming platform.
I saw that coming.
Or they're going to come to an agreement with Twitch directly to make
and get a cut.
A WWE division of Twitch.
Oh shit. If that happens, then what stops other businesses from trying to do the fucking same?
That's a good point.
Common decency.
It's a fucking existing business, Scooter, and you fucking know it. Don't give me that bullshit.
I'm not saying it exists. But
it doesn't exist in business.
The reason why we see guys like Evil Uno doing, we see the AEW guys doing that stuff.
That's honestly, real quick, common decency. That's things that it's used against people like us, dude. Honest to God. They use that shit against us. I really believe it. But go ahead.
I mean, yeah. Tony Khan could take one look at this and try to do something like this, but Tony Khan...
Say what you will about,
Tony Khan, I will say this, Tony Khan is more of an employer's side businessman than than the board of directors. Like
I dare say he seems more approachable.
Exactly.
Well, one thing you guys left out is Impact Wrestling. They used to stream their whole show on Twitch at one point. I think they might actually still do.
They still do. They stream at the most random times.
So, could this maybe be the start of, you said Twitch, WWE division of Twitch. Do you see that maybe being more of a wrestling division? Well,
No.
we could. Okay.
No. Specifically WWE, because Impact.
They want to control the revenue stream.
For most of the talent in Impact, intellectual property is not even an issue.
That's different. Impact's different because they're using it for exposure, not monetary benefit, more or less.
It's another way of what I'm trying to say is that they don't care about the intellectual property side.
They don't care about the monetary side of it.
They're doing it because they know it's primarily the
how you get
way to be seen,
eyes and viewers. Yeah, it's the new cable TV. It's if you want but if you want to buy ads, you're gonna reach like people over 40. If you want to reach people under 40, you buy things on like ads on Twitch or YouTube.
Plus, also with Twitch, they can choose when to take ad breaks.
Well, they've been making content creators do hourly ad breaks.
I will say this.
Did you hear me though? They have been they instituted that already.
Now, I will say this. If Twitch ends up modifying their terms of service to accommodate the WWE, you will see a mass exodus from Twitch.
Well, I think it also, like I said, it opens the gates for other people to make loopholes with Twitch themselves. And then it dirties the waters, I think. And then at what point, like, where's too far at that point? You know what I'm saying?
What the other part of that was what Scooter was saying was that there might be a WWE streaming service of like a Twitch.
A division on Twitch, like a WWE
completely
theme,
separate,
like section. Right, like I said, other businesses will take advantage of that and try to do that themselves. And then at what point does it become basically what cable was in terms of like branding all the time?
I think the biggest comparison to this, and I hate to use this, is what Bella Thorne did to OnlyFans.
But
I have
hold on, go ahead.
I
got a thought I'm trying to hold on to.
Because Bella Thorne, the actress, former Disney starlet,
unfortunately we know,
ended up opening up an OnlyFans account where men and women can
she's
sell
not even that cute.
Pornographic content, and she was, and it works on a system where there's a fluctuating price system there, and Bella Thorne's celebrity, and I use the term very loosely.
No, I would say notoriety.
Ended up skewing that fluctuation to such a degree that the ones that were making genuine content for OnlyFans were now essentially being
real quick for anyone listening. What she did was she said she was gonna have OnlyFans implying nudes, and she didn't do nudes, and it fucked everyone else over that was doing that. That's basically what happened.
Yeah, and that's essentially like the same. It's the same sort of principle behind the money. And without getting into the economics of it,
I forgot what I was gonna say. So fuck it.
So we can all agree that something is going to come out of this.
Yes.
it doesn't necessarily seem it's a good thing for WWE that they started this, but they're in it now.
Yeah, and then they are in it. They are up the creek without a paddle.
And I think that's a good place to leave this conversation for right now, and conclude our coverage of the news. Later on, we will be talking about all things Hell in a Cell, but for right now, we are wrestling with Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory. It was last Saturday. It seems like Impact Wrestling only gets talked about every couple months when they actually do these paid previews. Is that a fair assessment, Scooter?
Yeah, I would say so. Although I will say this, I've actually been watching a lot more Impact lately.
I mean, how could you not? You have to find out who murdered Johnny Bravo, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Ending your TV show with a shooting or an implied shooting, I should say.
Implied shooting? He had a ketchup stain on his suit. It was a murder.
That has Tommy Dreamer written all over it.
But it happened in the dark.
It has Tommy Dreamer written all over it.
So that's how they get around anybody saying it's tasteless. And I have to agree. Yeah, it was in poor taste.
At least they didn't show it. I mean, or try to reenact it.
But Impact is picking up in terms of in terms of quality.
Well, what I thought about this show, Bound for Glory, that is it wasn't a bad show. It was actually pretty decent. But what we've been saying, this show really needed a crowd. People.
As a lot of wrestling does, dude.
But we WWE has the Thunderdome. AEW is actually bringing in crowds nowadays.
Is it more than just them using people in the back?
What I'm trying to say is that there's noise.
They've been for the last few months. They've been using employees from the back to fill the crowd.
Well, I'm considering New Japan is considering bringing in 20,000 fans for Wrestle Kingdom in the Tokyo Dome.
That's a super spreader. But I mean, Japan seems to have a lid on it. I think I'm not sure.
Well, New Japan has a better hold on it than.
I'm talking about the country Japan, but
yeah, they do. They do have a better hold on.
They actually are listening to science, believe that or not.
Yeah.
Holy shit, right?
And back to Impact Wrestling, this was definitely a show that really suffered from no crowd reaction because they don't have any noise other than announcers and the wrestlers.
Yeah.
That being said, it still wasn't a bad show. So let's get into it. X Division Championship. Raheem Raju defeated TJP, Willie Mack, Jordan Grace, Chris Bay, Trey Miguel in a scramble match.
I love the fact that Impact is putting their female talent on the same level with the male talent in terms of in-ring competition.
And how good is Jordan Grace?
Jordan Grace is incredible.
I've said that for how long, dude? I said that a long time ago.
And I have been a fan of Jordan Grace even before she came to Impact as Mitch was. But I think Impact is we're going to see more of, women being treated as equal opportunity competitors in the ring. Oh, my throat. And that is probably what is going to gain Impact the most notoriety. Yes, they still kind of have to. Actually, I think Tessa Blanchard is all but forgotten at this point. But they're going to try putting a female in the main event at some point in the near future. It's coming. It's going to happen. And then Impact is going to be making more noise.
I think they're good at making noise. I don't necessarily think that they keep the noise going. At some point it does drop off, unfortunately for them. Speaking of dropping off, Rhino pinned Sami Callihan to win the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, which gained Heat a contract with the company.
Now, this was an on-the-fly change because Heath was supposed to win. Unfortunately, Heath got injured. Kudos to Impact for covering their bases here, with including Rhino in that stipulation.
He got a hernia in the middle of the match.
Yeah. So if anyone, anyone thinks, Rhino winning, securing Heath's employment was something they did last minute, no, it wasn't. That was the stipulation going into this. So yeah, kudos for some smart booking from Scott D'Amore.
It seems like maybe Impact saw this coming to a degree.
Well, that remains to be seen.
Honestly,
yeah.
If you want to hear my take on it real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
I honestly think that them being on Twitch matters. Right now, Twitch is booming and becoming what TV used to be, and TV's dropping off. Like I said earlier. It's like serious. Like it feels like the future is literally now. And there's like a huge shift happening. And I think that's giving them more views than they would have previously had.
All right.
So I think that's contributing to their rise right now. That's just what I mean.
Going back to Heath, it just seems like, he's getting an opportunity, and it just seems like there's something always holding him back. Does that feel like the same way you guys feel that way too, Mitch?
Say again, with who?
With Heath Slater.
Heath Slater. I mean, sometimes certain people just have bad luck, dude. Shit, I've been there. I know how it is, and sometimes things just work against you. And yeah, he's had some tough luck, dude, but he's doing what he can with it. I admire like his fortitude. I've never been a fan of him personally. I think he can be corny at times. I like him better here. As WWE, I didn't like him in WWE. But yeah. Someone's calling me. What the fuck?
No, that's me, and I think it might be
No, it's Kaliko.
Cook and Rum time.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay, go ahead.
Scooter, do you want to add something to what Mitch said?
He's trying to come in.
Nope. I mean, that's all. I think that says it all about Heath.
And we are being joined by Kaliko Yachts.
Hey, what up, Kaliko?
What up, man? Oof, putting in that work today. Poll working. Make sure y'all go vote, man. I'm risking my ass off so people can
I
go
have
vote.
my vote sticker on me. I already voted. I already sent my ballot in. Okay. So as of yesterday or 2 days ago, if you put it in the mail, it won't get there in time. So I walked down to the nearest drop box and put it in. So.
Yeah, most like, and then I got a mail-in ballot too, and I filled it out. Was waiting to put a stamp on it, and after I learned that
you don't need postage here.
That it most likely won't be counted now.
Why?
Because it won't get there in time.
You shouldn't have put it in the mail. I had to walk over to.
I didn't put it in the mail. I'm going to vote on election day, and I want to give a quick plug to a New York State Senator Kevin Thomas, who, after seeing his ad on TV, I realized I went to junior high with him.
Oh my God! Really?
I knew someone who ran for Congress a few years ago too.
And this just
I swear to God, everybody from New York knows everybody.
It's like that in California too. It's like that everywhere, I think.
It's just my first step into world domination.
Coming up next, Moose wrestled EC3 in a cinematic match. Yeah, that happened. What do you think's going on with EC3? First he was Dixie Carter's nephew.
Mid-age crisis.
It's most likely EC3 returning to Impact, and it's not TNA anymore, and he's lost in where he got, where he had all of his success, and it's an interesting thing that he's playing this martyr for Moose, but
that sounds like a underground band. Martyr for Moose.
Where does it go after that, though?
It goes
where does he?
You know what? I think it's a possibility that Impact realized he's not the same person that he used to be.
It actually goes to Ring of Honor because he's now on Ring of Honor TV.
Who?
EC3.
EC3, yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, because he's under a TNA contract, right?
The TNA.
But it's one of those things where he can kind of.
Yeah.
So they're working with ROH?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's called independent contractor.
It's just weird, but all of a sudden they could have done that a long time ago, man.
But long time ago, I feel like ROH was on a higher ground. ROH was on a higher ground, so they had no incentive to. Now they got no choice.
I mean, this was 10 days ago.
Right.
When he made his debut, so.
Next up.
And
damn. Yeah. Well, you know what? I think that might be the. Excuse me. Real quick. I think that might be the better place for him. I think that might be where he can get more time and shine more.
And it looks like EC3 is going to have to get involved with the most likely the Briscoes and or Jay Lethal.
Which is
Jay Lethal. I'd like to see him in Jay Lethal.
Which are not bad guys to wrestle, no?
Nope.
A bad guy to wrestle. Ken Shamrock with Sami Callihan defeated Eddie Edwards.
Wait, I thought Shamrock was freaking retired.
No, he just went into the Hall of Fame.
Oh my God! I remember them saying Shamrock's retiring. I'm never gonna believe that shit.
And yes, this was the pay-per-view that had The Rock, Bret Hart, and Mick Foley, but all.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
They all inducted him into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they all helped induct him into the Impact Hall of Fame.
The Rock, Mankind, and Bret Hart were all on Impact Television?
Yep, there was.
By a
Holy
video.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's The Rock especially. That's like big. I think that's big.
We mentioned that weeks ago.
The Rock last time, but not Bret and Mankind. I didn't know that.
I mean, Bret and Mick goes where the flow is, so it doesn't surprise me. I mean, Mick was an
With
Impact
Bret, it
Pro.
surprises me, not Mankind though, because I thought Bret was like an AEW guy, but.
Kaliko, what did you think of the match?
I mean, it almost kind of like, if anybody remembers, this reminded me like when Kurt Angle got in the Hall of Fame, or he was supposed to be in the Hall of Fame and he didn't take it, and then he lost to Bobby Roode. It's almost kind of like the inverse of that to me.
See, I think that's Bobby Roode's better than Corbin.
And the main reason and the main reason to me is the inverse, because The Rock inducted him.
Well, you also have to remember that was back during the time of Perk Angle.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's true, but keep in mind, it wasn't like TNA said we're not going to induct you. He chose not to accept it.
And then
because it was a different company back then.
Wait. Or that was the story, quotation mark.
You're talking about Impact. Impact was different back then.
I mean, I honestly don't recognize Impact as their Hall of Fame as a legit Hall of Fame. I can't.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, you can't. It's because their class is like one person
it's like
a
a
year.
yearly commercial.
It's like one person a year, and it's like you ain't gonna fill up nobody with that shit. Like,
just glad handing to people that it helps them with their contracts or something. I don't know.
Coming up
next,
the North defeated the Motor City Machine Guns and Carl Anderson and
don't do my boys like that.
Doc Gallows. Josh Alexander pinned Machine Gun Carl Anderson.
Real quick,
you heard that right.
You're speaking about Machine Gun. Did anyone else see that photo his wife posted of him?
Who?
On the internet?
No.
Where she waited till he was sleeping and wrote cheater all over his face because she was jealous that he liked a girl's picture online.
Kaliko?
Did you guys hear that? Did you hear it?
Yes,
don't give our wives any ideas.
Yeah, right.
I know, right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I need to go incognito on my.
I'm just saying, some people can be like snide, and just out of nowhere. Yeah.
I also forgot to mention Ace Austin and Madman Fulton was also in the match. If there was ever a match that pissed me off, it was this one. Not necessarily because the North won, but because Carl Anderson got pinned. You bring in probably the two biggest guys you could get at this point, and then you beat them at your biggest show? That kind of seems like bullshit to me. Kaliko, do you agree, disagree?
But they needed to buck the trend of just signing people over and winning the titles ad nauseum. So it had to stop somewhere. You just can't, like, Deanna came and won the title. Eric Young came and won a title. Like, it kind of shits on your current roster. And you can't do that all the time.
True, but they also could have beat the Motor City Machine Guns as well.
Well, if that was the case, they shouldn't have put it as that kind of a match anyway and just made it a one-on-one tag. And let the Gallows and Anderson work their way there.
What about you, Scooter? What are your thoughts on the North as TNA champions once again?
I mean, I mean, at this point, I think it's more of a oh, I think it's more about rewarding loyalty. I mean, you had the Machine Guns come back and win the titles, yes, and everybody had their proud moment, but until Chris Sabin cuts his hair, I can't take him seriously. But I mean,
You're one to talk holy grail ponytail.
I'm like Samson. You cut it off, and I lose my power. Chris Sabin has an afro at this point, but
mine's in a weird rank. Like here, I'll shoot real quick.
Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, they've been trotting through, Impact, rolling with the punches, so to speak. And again, I think it's just a case of rewarding loyalty. I mean, this is essentially the biggest win of their career, beating Impact's most legendary tag team, and beating not the WWE's biggest tag team, but
a world-renowned tag team.
A world-renowned tag team in the same match.
That's actually a good point. Next up, Su Yung defeated Deonna Purrazzo with Kimberly to become the new Knockouts champion.
Kimberly! That's a name from the product.
There's some issue.
It was originally scheduled to be Kelly Ray.
Kimberly, yeah, she. I'm not trying to be like. I don't know what it is, but like there always seems to be an issue around her.
She disappeared before the show. Impact didn't have a reason for it.
It's always something, dude.
The news I'm hearing is, and I hate to say this, it's
gonna like hurt her. Make sure you know first.
It's some sort of mental condition, borderline personality disorder, or.
Well, that's so common now. People need to start waking up and like realizing it's a real thing, and not judge people with it, and realize like it's a serious issue, especially now in America. More people have it than not, in my opinion, or some issues one way or the other that they're not. Maybe other people aren't aware of.
I was under the assumption that Kylie Ray may have gotten, sick, coronavirus or something.
Sick, quote unquote.
Yeah, something on that lines. I was not under the impression.
See, I don't want to speculate as to what I want.
No, I'm not.
I don't want to. No, I'm not gonna say it. Never mind.
I'm just. From my perspective, and I hate to throw around rumor and innuendo.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. I don't know the facts, so I'm just gonna shut the fuck
up. But you're saying, Scooter, that this might be a bigger problem.
Yes. Now, as far as she's concerned currently right now, she is okay in however loosely that term can be applied. It seems like
she's like not actively like, yeah.
It seems like she's going to participate in the next round of Impact tapings. Whether or not the issue at hand that caused her to disappear in the first place is being dealt with remains to be seen.
Do you think that this is another case of not the right time, like we talked about with Heat earlier?
No, I think this is way more personal. This is not a This is not
and real quick, I'm not gonna speak. Like I said, I'm not gonna speak to the issue and like speculate. But I will just say from my own experience, wrestlers go through a lot of pain. Sometimes they need a release, and it's in weird ways. Everyone's different.
All right, that's fair enough. Kaliko, do you want to talk on add your opinion to the matter?
The information to me is so vague that I don't.
Yeah.
I try to step away because if it is because the one thing I don't want to do is assume that it's not something with mental issue and rah rah, and it is a mental issue.
You've also got to think if it's self-sabotaging, obviously there's an issue.
That is true. However, to me, like, put it this way, like Mauro Ranallo, who's the greatest fucking announcer possibly.
But he's aware of it.
But that's my point.
Is people being aware of it.
And that's my point. That's my point. Like, I'm going to wait until she tells us what it is.
Or just be aware of their actions. Yeah, their side of things.
Rather than assume.
Now, at the beginning of the year, when she was released from AEW, she did give an interview about battling mental illness.
Okay.
I think the how do I say this? The spontaneity of maybe how she acted, maybe is why she only had a cup of coffee in AEW.
Well, she asked for her release in AEW, so
that's what I'm saying. The spontaneity, like that's what I'm saying. But from what I heard, like she regretted that, and I don't want to get into it, but yeah. And that could back up what you're saying.
Last match on the card, your main event, Rich Swann defeated Eric Young to become the new Impact World Champion.
How about that, dude? If anyone deserves it, it's Eric Young. He deserved to go far in WWE. Even though they gave him the sanity gimmick from someone else. Who was it supposed to be? I forget. It was supposed to be someone else, and then they gave it to Eric Young. But anyways,
I think it was actually supposed to be James Storm.
No, not sanity. Nope. I'll remember it, and next week I'll bring it. I remember specifically it was someone I was like, oh, that's interesting. But Sami Callihan.
Yeah,
Sami Callihan.
Sami Callihan. Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, that would have been interesting.
That would have been great. That would have been so good.
When he was Solomon Crow.
Yeah, that would have fit. And then so when Eric Young took that, it kind of didn't seem like his, and it kind of made sense after I learned that.
Sue Young became women's champion, and Rich Swann is your men's champion. So it was a good night at the Swan House, no?
Honestly, Rich Swann, if you noticed his story, he earned that shit.
Yeah,
Rich Swann looks pimping now.
He did. From personal experience, there is rarely somebody that's so open, so warm to just everybody in the locker room, as well as in ring talent.
I've only heard good things about him.
Now he's had his problems in the past. Who hasn't?
I've never heard of him treating people badly though.
There was an issue with him a while back. I think it involved I think it involved accusations of abuse. I think they were disproven.
Are you talking about the Sue Young thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was fixed, and they're together.
Yeah. So yeah, Swann, a decent human being, a great in-ring performer. Went from being underused to the main event. Yeah, he's earned it.
Anything you want to add to that, Kaliko?
I'm thinking more of his. Yeah, you're right in his personal story, but in the fact that wrestling saved his life, he's adamant about that. And considering like the life that he had as a adolescent or as a kid, and like how he almost didn't even get to this point, right? Like to me, no one deserves it better than Rich Swann.
And I think that's a good place to conclude our coverage of Impact Wrestling Down. Oh wait, no, we forgot to talk about Johnny Bravo getting shot.
That happened on Impact on Access.
Who's Johnny Bravo? I'm trying to remember.
Rosemary's on-screen boyfriend, fiance.
Kaliko, you've had to see the Johnny Bravo thing. Your thoughts on it?
I mean, I get what we're trying to do with wrestling because it's trying to get beyond the box and get into the drama aspect of it. So,
the way it was pulled up was kind of silly, you know.
Yeah, because they're trying
Tommy
to get
Dreamer, fucking Tommy, he makes me laugh. It's like fucking hell makes me laugh, but it was silly.
They're trying to. It's a ripoff of Dallas.
I know.
Yes, I know. Exactly. They're trying to get the
like
whole.
I said, they're silly.
Who shot JR? And it's like.
I know. I'm very aware. I lived through that time period.
No, fam. It ain't. Or you remember when Mr. Burns got shot in The Simpsons?
Yo, that was 1996. Yo, absolutely. I remember
that's what it seems like they're trying to get it to that point, and it's just like those points, like JR.
That was early 96.
I just love. I loved how Tommy Dreamer he sold that shit great in his Road Warrior outfit. They shot Johnny Bravo. No.
Yeah. If anybody gonna tell it, he will.
Oh yeah.
Real quick. You want to talk about real quick? You brought up the Mr. Burns and other things. One thing took the cake, and it wasn't like a TV show, but it was on TV. The O.J. Simpson trial. I remember watching that in sixth grade. They put it on in the friggin' in the schoolrooms for the kids to watch. The verdict.
Well.
So that was pretty monumental, I think.
I'm sure whoever did it, they did it for the Rock.
Yeah, well, considering that Falaba claimed to have stolen Hernandez's money for Bravo, much like Rikishi ran over Steve Austin for The Rock.
There you
Recycle content. It's the age of recycled content. Everyone, there's like a drought in creativity. It's ridiculous.
Everything is recycled.
It didn't used to be this way. Is my point. It is now. Because it's a society of remasters and remasters for more money.
And no matter
selling the same product 24 fucking times.
No matter how original you think something is, you can always find something or something that did it in another way previously.
Not, in my opinion, not as egregiously, but that's I believe that.
Well,
I think facts bear that out, but that's what that's what.
Well, whoever shot Johnny Bravo, I'm sure we'll be covering it later on in the show, on a future episode.
You son of a handbag.
I couldn't care less.
That'll conclude our coverage of Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory. And we are wrestling with WWE Hell in a Cell. It was last Sunday, and if you were smart, you listened to it on the remix with Scooter Dust. Correct, Scooter?
Correct.
And this was one of WWE's better shows. As a whole, what did you think of it, Scooter?
It was great. Top to bottom, people worry that 3 cell matches would make the match type stale. Each Hell in a Cell match delivered something different, and it was entertaining. Even in some of the things where we thought were going to drag it down.
What about you, Mitch? What did you think about the paid preview as a whole? All right, I think we lost Mitch. Let's try Kaliko. What did you think, Kaliko?
Oh, sorry. I was talking and I had to, yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, repeat that.
What did you think about the paid preview as a whole, Hell in a Cell?
Like I said, I believe that the multiple Hell in a Cell matches diluted the impact of what a Hell in a Cell match means. There was 3 of them, and so I don't agree, and I don't agree with that. I think it should be 1, at the most 2, like 1 male and 1 female, but it needs to have an exclusivity to it. And matter, like it has to matter, and there has to be a reason why they're doing it. It can't just be for gimmick's sake, in my opinion.
Well, that is a good point. What about you, Kaliko? What did you think about the paid preview?
I mean, the 3 matches that had it had a reason for it. If it was a gimmick, everyone would have a Hell in a Cell match.
But I feel like they were okay. What's that? You know that saying?
Less is more.
I have a saying in my head. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to put it right together right or not. But the saying of like they have a Hell in a Cell match for. I don't know how to say it right. I can't. Fuck it.
I get what you're trying to.
They have a match for the people, not a people for the match, or something like that. Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but the 3 matches that had it warranted it. I mean, because the fact of the matter is that it
seemed like they were forcing that into the spot. Is what I'm saying. Yeah, like they had 3 spots to fill. That's a better way of saying it.
Well, to me, the USO was going that way anyway, because that was the only way.
It just felt like like in the booking meeting, they're like, all right, we got 3 Hell in a Cell matches to fill. Which ones are they going to be? That's what it felt like to me.
It wasn't that way, because if you're looking at
that's why I said to me.
I get it, but if you're looking at all the way those story arcs went, they were warranted. Only one I could contest you with is the Orton match, because you felt like the ambulance match kind of ended it. But the other two,
let's reach and give you that. Even with giving you that, the impact of having a Hell in a Cell match is diminished still, because you're having multiple. Like the impact of it isn't as big anymore, I believe.
I don't think the audience cared that there was
people like me who have been watching forever that think like this absolutely pick it up. At least we might not care, but we notice it.
I mean, I've been watching forever. To me, it was the 3 best. Those are the 3 better matches. I'm just giving you my
opinion.
It's your opinion, man. You want it to.
Oh yeah, I feel you. I feel you. But to me, that pay-per-view was excellent. Like, other than 2 matches, the rest fulfilled the purposes of what it was meant to be. And
I can see where you're saying that. I'm just saying, like, yeah, for me, I feel like at the very least, and I can give you that, the part of like it meant something, or there was a reason for all 3 to have it.
Right.
But I still feel multiple Hell in a Cell matches takes away from the impact of what a Hell in a Cell match should be.
Well, if
they were back to back, I could see your point. But the fact that they had the only one that I could argue with, that I'll take you onto that with, is the Orton McIntyre match. But I get why they went there, because the match that McIntyre's never been in, and it showed his lack of experience. that was the reasoning for that one. The Bailey Sasha, it had to go there because
Yes, they did.
I agree with you 110%. That one was absolutely warranted.
The brutality, it had
And
to go there.
Probably the Roman one too. Yeah.
And the Roman J, that was just family.
Okay, you know what? Honestly,
that had to go there.
No, but you could have had it be something else. It could have been a different gimmick, but yeah. It could have been a last man standing match.
Well, Roman
No.
Hell no. Roman and
or
Jay,
a submission match or whatever. No,
Roman,
I quit.
Roman Jay.
It was an I Quit match.
It was I Quit. Okay, never mind.
It was a Hell in a Cell I Quit.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Roman and Jay was psychological.
Yes.
Sasha and Bailey was brutal. Orton and McIntyre were, how do I put this? Was a
more
spot.
technical. It was more technical spot. But I feel like Jay and Roman were just as brutal because of the fact that Roman was about to. It was brutal in the sense of what he was about to do or what he was willing to do. And
I think we saw this coming. Yeah,
and he stopped short of that.
Okay, real quick. I'm sure you've heard the rumors and everything, but I just want to mark this down for when it happens. It's gonna happen I'm pretty sure of where the Roman thing is going. Eventually the Usos will get behind him as the family chieftain.
They have to.
It's already happened.
It's already happened.
And they will all be a heel faction, and he will be the head honcho. He'll be the badass.
That was the point. That's why I said. That's why what I said.
That's why you saw often Secret come out.
Jay Uso gave in to the so to speak, on SmackDown, defeating Daniel Bryan
to gain a spot in the Survivor Series match. Yes.
And after he put Bryan through the announce table.
Right. Now, what I would have wished that had happened is I wish that it was a slow to that. Because to me, to show that psychological switch from
real quick, I'll be right back, guys. I gotta take my dog out real quick.
To me, if they had to did it slowly from at first he didn't like it, and then he eventually got to see where he was coming from. I felt like that would have, especially getting to that point till Jimmy came back, so Jimmy could be the person to try to fight them, and then he has to eventually get in. I felt like it would have been better in that arc rather than an instant. But I mean, I kind of figured that was going to happen because to me, I was like, yeah, family going to come in this. Somebody going to come and say, this is the man, get your ass in line.
And going into the actual match, Roman Reigns defeated Jey Uso to retain the WWE Universal Championship in 29 minutes and 9 seconds. This was an hour segment on the show. Do you think that was the appropriate amount of time to give them? Do you think it maybe went a little too long? Or do you think that they hit this just right? Scooter, do you want to start us off?
I think
go Scooter.
They hit it just right. I mentioned this before. The WWE has to think of certain things to keep the fans interested, and what they did at Clash of the Champions is they had Reigns and Jay mic'd up, and they did it again, and that was so pivotal to the story, to advancing it, to making us feel it. If you're a true WWE fan, and if you're a true wrestling fan in general, and you were watching this and you were not disturbed by how Roman Reigns was acting a little, especially after he pulled those crocodile tears, then you've got no feeling whatsoever.
Okay, real quick. That's not fair. There's people like me and you who understand wrestling and understand what's going on, and you snicker at it, even things like that, because you know it's not real.
It's a TV show, Mitch.
I'm just saying, like, we have been in the business, so we understand like that side of it, and so we know what's going on, and we snicker, but we're not snickering because we're cold-hearted. That's me, at least. Like, if I were to ever snicker, it's because it's like the business side of it. I get what they're doing, and I'm like, oh, that's badass. That's great. Like, as an actor, you know, as a wrestler.
What about you?
But it's not because I'm cold. It's like watching a Halloween movie. It's like calling someone an asshole for liking a horror film.
Well, what I said was if you didn't feel uneasy.
Okay, I was
not laughing at it.
Okay.
What about you, Kalisto? Did you feel that they hit this just right as well?
Yeah, they did. And the reason being is because I told you guys all along with this one.
You sure did.
This was more than wins and losses. This was about who is the elder in the family, who's the man in the family, who y'all need to get behind.
The family chieftain.
Let me finish?
Oh, that's the word, sorry.
Jay was making his case. Jay was unsuccessful in his case. The elders, and it was funny because and if you notice, like, they were putting a lot of emphasis on the lathe that Jay was wearing to the ring, and then when Roman got his lathe at the end, that's why it was more about the win and the loss. It's about crowning him as the guy now. He is the person to carry the family to the next level and take the torch. That's basically what it was. To me, when I get where you were coming from with the crocodile tears and everything like that, and the mic up, that was the whole reason behind it. And the fact that they just went real names. It wasn't even like, yo, this is Jay, this is John, yo, like, that's where it's getting you to psychologically, because it's hitting that nerve that if you had like multiple siblings, if you were like me, I'm the oldest, I can see that because I am living through that, having to put mofos in line and be like, yo, this is what we gotta do, and they try to fight you, and then the elders are like, yeah, this is the dude, listen to him, right? So I get it. I got all of it. So that's why, to me, this was probably the greatest psychologically storytelling match of this quarter of the year. It possibly could be. There's, Boneyard match, Firefly Funhouse, but it's up there to me, and it was just perfect. It was the perfect amount of time to tell what they need to tell.
If I can make a comparison, essentially, Roman is Michael Corleone and Jay is Sonny.
Exactly.
And I think that's a great
Roman is Thor, Jay is Odin.
That would make him his father.
Man, I called that shit. I called the Tucker turn. Anyway.
And we got Elias defeating Jeff Hardy via DQ in 7 minutes and 50 seconds. That is kind of what it is. Something I called a couple weeks ago. The Miz with John Morrison defeated Otis with Tucker to win the Money in the Bank contract in 7 minutes and 27 seconds.
You mean with Tucker turning on Otis?
Right, but that's how.
That's a big deal. That cost him the match.
No, you're absolutely right. Otis, Tucker cost Otis the briefcase.
Yeah.
Miz is more or less your next WWE champion, no?
Now,
well, he's Mr. Money in the Bank.
A very interesting statistic. When Miz won the Money in the Bank, when he cashed in, it was against Randy Orton. But do you remember where?
In
No.
Orlando.
In the Amway Center.
Oh.
I'm getting some deja
Okay.
vu. But
True.
this was
Back
the
when
right.
they could travel.
This was the right call to
What?
make, right? Put the briefcase on Miz, right?
Honestly, you could have made a case that Miz would have been champion a couple years ago. And
Honestly, just get it off Otis. I don't understand why he. It baffled me that he won the Money in the Bank over AJ Styles. It just baffles me.
Oh, you remember I got really hot when Otis won.
Me too. Remember?
Yeah.
I was like, I almost rioted, dude. I was like, bullshit.
Yeah.
But the Money in the Bank has to get. I feel like they strayed away from it for a while because the whole point of Money in the Bank is to introduce you to the next thing.
And
yes, like
for about
Austin, Lesnar,
and
Kurt Angle.
for about like I want to say about 4 or 5 years, they kind of like let it go because Cena, Orton, fucking who else? Other than Seth, everyone else that won it was kind of like, established.
Right. Well done, Corbin.
I mean, I will say
it's not what it used to be.
Probably the best cash in was out of the last couple of years was probably Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, that was pretty
King of the Ring. Sorry.
True, but to me, like even with Dean was already kind of set. It was kind of a move to put him in the upper echelon without having to, it was something that they were trying to do to try to set a history making night. But to me, he could have won it in a match. I totally could have saw him winning it in a championship.
This is why Aleister Black should have won it.
Well,
I kind of agree with that.
I've been into consensus.
Him or AJ?
That since the Money in the Bank went mainstream, quote unquote, it hasn't been the same. Money in the Bank was a match that got guys on the WrestleMania card that didn't necessarily have matches. Because
for like a stretch of like 6 to 8 years, or like 5 to 6 years at least, only one person that won the briefcase didn't cash it in successfully, and that was like Mr. Kennedy. And then it seemed like
Mr. Kennedy lost it to Edge. He never really cashed it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but the one that never won the briefcase and never got to like cash it in, like never got the title, like period. When he never got a match.
Sandow, and Cena.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm wrong.
Sandow, Cena.
No, I'm not wrong. I'm saying I'm speaking as of like 2012, like or back then. Like as of back then, it did. And then coming into the new era, so to speak, it's just been completely shifted on its head to where like it's happened so many times. Sandow, a few others, yeah.
I think that's just at that point they got jealous.
And my point, what I'm saying is, there's a difference between then and now of Money in the Bank. I think it's gotten diluted.
Next match, Hell in a Cell match. Sasha Banks defeated Bayley to win the SmackDown Women's Championship in 26 minutes and 32 seconds. Sasha has won not this specific championship, but she's won many championships before. But this really felt like this was maybe her crowning moment. Did you guys feel that way, or am I maybe reading a little bit too much into Sasha? Scooter?
I think you are absolutely correct. This makes her the third women's Grand Slam champion in history. I think, honestly, this match was as brutal as it needed to be. But I think the thing that everybody is wondering is next week on SmackDown, when Sasha defends against Bayley in a rematch, will Sasha's curse still be intact?
True.
Yeah. That's the question.
Wait a minute. I think she's the 4th
No.
Grand Slam champ. Yeah. She's 4th.
Bailey, Charlotte.
Bailey, Charlotte, Alexa.
No, it's Charlotte.
Asuka.
Charlotte never
was
won the tag
Becky?
team.
No. What?
Charlotte never
Becky?
won the tag team championships.
No, I said Asuka, Alexa.
Oh, Alexa.
I'm asking, was Becky?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
And Becky.
Bailey.
No,
Bailey-
not Becky.
Bailey,
Bailey,
Becky
Asuka.
It's Bailey,
Bailey,
and Asuka.
Asuka. Yeah, Bailey and Asuka.
It's Bailey and Asuka.
Yeah,
My bad.
no, and
Yeah.
Alexa.
No, she was never NXT champion.
True.
Well, I'm thinking Grand Slam intense and purposes for main
Nah,
roster.
I kind of gotta
Got
agree with him there. That doesn't matter.
Got it.
That
I
doesn't
thought
count
you were talking
NXT,
about.
no.
Yeah. They weren't talking NXT. It would be the 4th, if not including NXT.
I agree with you.
I don't think
Because
they.
they recognize Alexa as a Grand Slam.
All right.
But see, before she got to the main roster, she was with Murphy and what's the other dude's the guy? From
Buddy
the Lost.
Murphy. And,
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Alexa Bliss is not recognized as a Grand
from
Slam.
Lost Prophets.
Because she didn't
Then
win.
the NXT Championship is included in the Grand Slam. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and Tag Team.
Well, that's new to me because they've been selling Alexa Bliss Grand Slam plaques.
Now Alexa,
So you're saying
was-
you got scammed, is what you're saying, Kaliko.
Alexa,
Oh,
was,
I didn't buy it, but I'm just saying there's people that bought it.
Alexa was the first to win both women's championships.
But when she won the tag, they counted her. That's what I was.
They called it Triple Crown.
Not
okay.
good.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
confusing.
Whatever.
Next up, Bobby Lashley.
So I meant earlier when I said what I said. I meant Forgotten Sons, but yeah, the guy in Wesley Blake.
Blake
That's what
and
I was trying
Murphy.
to say earlier.
Blake and Murphy.
Yes.
Bobby Lashley defeated Slapjack to retain the United States Championship in 3 minutes and 51 seconds. We don't need to talk about this match. And then we have your main event. Hell in a Cell match. Randy Orton defeated Drew McIntyre to win the WWE Championship in 30 minutes and 35 seconds. Randy Orton is now a 14-time world champion. And this was definitely a great way to get that belt. No, Scooter?
Absolutely. I mean, we almost thought maybe that The Miz was gonna cash in immediately just so Orton could get that 15th reign under his belt as quick as possible. Because within the I can almost guarantee within the next 18 months at the most, next 2 years, Orton will be 17-time world champion.
And Kaliko, do you think that that's maybe wanted, or do you think that it should stay 16 with Ric Flair?
I have an opinion on that, but
Ric Flair wants it to be Orton. He expressed, when they were having their thingy, he expressed he wanted Orton to break it, so I don't see why it wouldn't be Orton. Plus, Orton is the more constant, if you will. Everyone else comes and goes, and everyone else goes full-time, part-time, and Orton just sitting there cruising, and shit, if anyone just did, it would be him, and he still got, the tank. So, I can see him doing 3. He could get 3. Easy.
You had an opinion, Mitch?
I was just gonna answer the question you asked when you asked Scooter and Kligo about about Randy Orton winning the title, and I thought it was gonna happen before the ambulance match. if you remember, go back, you'll see I predicted Orton to win it because I believed in the Edge and the Orton rumors, and everyone shit on me for that, or a few people did, and it seems like I was right. But I was wrong in the timing of Orton getting the title. I admit that. It surprised me because, like I said, I think it was a mistake to do such a closer angle like they did with the ambulance match in the second, and then have another match to have Orton win. It just seemed out of place.
Well,
I thought Orton was going to win the ambulance match too, so it wasn't like you were the only one. I thought he was going to win.
I'm just saying, it seemed like a closing angle of having Ric Flair drive Orton out and then have him have a rematch after that. It just kind of made me boggle. It boggled my mind. I don't know.
Well, let's finish on this last question. Has anybody looked better than Randy Orton in 2020? Scooter?
Orton's always ready.
Orton has, if anybody has come out of this shining, it is Randy Orton.
Mitch?
Like I said, Randy Orton's always ready. He's just been waiting for his time, like, waiting for the go, the red light or green light, so to speak. Just unleash him, and this is what happens. So it's not a surprise to me.
Kaliko?
If PWI does not put Orton as
I agree with you. I'm with you, Kaliko.
Of the fucking year,
PWI needs to rank him number 1.
We gonna have problems.
Watch them go with Moxley, though. He seems to be their boy.
Like, if he's not in the top, if he's not number 1, I'm pissed. Just fuck it. If he ain't number 1, I'm pissed.
It feels like Moxley's got like a friend over there in PWI.
Hey, Tony
the
Khan
fact he got it over Adam Cole, I'm fucking pissed.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
That's bullshit.
Tony Khan making those bills fly?
Too bad he can't make the Jaguars good. Hey,
got him!
And that will conclude our coverage of Hell in a Cell. Next week we will be talking Best of the Super Juniors and World Tag League. Tomorrow all of the competitors will be released and we will be covering it. Until then, please like, subscribe, comment both on YouTube and Castbox. And check out our new little web series, Wrestling with Interviews. This week, last Wednesday, we interviewed Whiskey John. And if you want to know what it's like to be starting your pro wrestling career in a pandemic, you're definitely going to want to listen. And you could catch us again next Wednesday during Dynamite and NXT as we interview Christian Robinson, the psychedelic psychonaut. Interesting guy, great stories. You are going to really enjoy that interview. Until then, you could join in the conversation on Twitter. I am at JamesJ993. Where can they find Kaliko?
I am Kaliko, and we about to go over this championship square between The Miz, The Fiend, Orton, and McIntyre. And we got to figure out what's going to happen after that.
Where can they find Mitch if Mitch Mayhem tweeted?
Mitch Mayhem X.
Well, you could sound a little bit more enthusiastic about it.
Why? That would be a lie.
And where can they find Scooter Dust?
As always, find me at Scooter Dust and at representing the UNB network at UNBS Wrestling.
For Kaliko Yacht, Mitch Mayhem, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.